What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome into the award-winning The Orange Zone podcast. A reminder, you can find every episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want to listen. You can also find every episode on our CNY Central YouTube page. New episodes are released Wednesdays and weekly, really, sometimes give or take a day or two. And we invite you to like, comment, and subscribe for more Orange Zone content where we are your place for all things orange. I'm Tommy Sladek. This is Samantha Croston. We have Brendon Hodges and Rachel Culver on the producer mics, and I'm bringing you some big news today. Because thank you for being a part of this journey, because the Orange Zone podcast has been recognized by the Radio Television Digital News Association with a regional Edward R. Morrow Award for Best Podcast. Best podcast out of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. Self-clap it up.
Let's go.
Gang, gang. So proud of everyone for getting this. It was kind of like a shocking call because it's award season. Sometimes you're not really sure what's being submitted where, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal to receive a Morrow. They're very highly looked upon. And obviously we have some people to thank here. Sean Carroll, our news director here at CNY Central, for helping spark this idea and giving us the resources to build it into what it is today. Caitlin Sorreo, Jana Barnello, our former assistant news directors who helped in the early stages of development for this show. Brian and Nelly, Andy Wolf, operations manager and chief photog, who helped design this insane set and obviously continue to assist in maintaining it. This set's gone through adversity.
Sure has.
It's humbled us. We've been rained on quite literally. That put us out of here for a few weeks. And those are just some of the names, but it's a big deal. And I'm going to open it up to you, Sam.
It will also be competing for a national award now, which is really cool as well. It gets to go on and compete with other podcasts across the entire country. And that will be announced in August, I believe. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is not why we do what we do. We do it because we love it and because we like to hear from all of you and create something that's special and meaningful. But it's really cool to have that work be recognized. And I truly believe the best is yet to come. I think this is in the early stages, and we just look forward to continuing to bring you more content and growing and learning alongside all of you in the process.
What, is that your email? Is that your email signature or something? The best is yet to come, Sam?
It's kind of my thing.
That is. Brandon, you're a little bit quiet, but the floor is yours, my friend. How are you feeling about this award?
Rachel and I both are feeling absolutely ecstatic about this. Rachel tried to tell me yesterday that she's only been here a little while, so she's not technically part of the team, which is it's not true.
False.
She's part of the TVT. The Trivia Villain team.
She is. She is.
And the
She's
Orange
full-on
Zone
villain.
team. And she's here today. She does a great job on Thursdays when we do our second episode each week. It's amazing that we're able to do that now. And it's amazing to have been a part of this from the very beginning. And Rachel is going to take over very well whenever I am no longer here. So
wow.
It's always great to have a team like this. And we have grown so much closer over the course of this with so many people. Whether it be the people we talk to outside of this, our own colleagues, the athletes we get to talk to at some points, the coaches that you guys talk to on a pretty standard basis, and I'm getting choked up here. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's amazing, and to be recognized is great, but to do this with you guys is obviously top. It's the cherry on top. Like, that's what we live for every week.
Yeah, truly doesn't feel like a job. It's awesome. And obviously a big thank you as well to Lawrence Moen and James Mungro, who have been a huge part of this team. And we'll get into some lacrosse content here, but in a little bit, I think we're going to be give Mungro a call and just see if he can see if he answers, and it'll be fun because we haven't told either of them about this news. I think they'll be really excited to hear that. So let's hop right into it, because it's a championship weekend coming up. It's championship week. We have a team in a championship. We had it with men's soccer in the fall, and we're having it again with Syracuse women's lacrosse. What a journey this has been for this team. And, wow, it's here. Syracuse, Boston College, going down on Friday at 5:30 in Cary, North Carolina. Sam, we are here, and it's real.
Grab your popcorn, folks, because this is the matchup. If Syracuse wins this, I believe they'll win the national championship. I believe this will be the hardest matchup that they face. And since the start, it just feels like this is the team that's always kind of the thorn in Syracuse's side. So this is the team you have to get past. Yes, sir.
Big time. And we were at, I was at media availability earlier today. Today is Tuesday. We are recording this on a Tuesday. And it was great because we got to catch up with Emma Ward, Emma Tyrell, Delaney Schweitzer, Kayla Trainer, of course. And it was really great just getting a feel of their energy. And one thing that, before we get into the lacrosse aspect that I had somewhat forgotten about or maybe didn't realize is they are the last people on campus. There's no one there. And so that was fun talking to them about that. I think they said the rowing team was also there, but other than that, they are the kind of last remaining souls. This little window here before the fall sports return, as well as summer courses pick up, and they're like, it's just us, and so we are spending every waking minute together, and they're loving it, and they're thinking that they're just it's strengthening what's already been a really great energy, and they're feeling really good going into this, Sam.
Not to mention, I remember at the last media availability prior to this, they had discussed, the influence that outside factors might have played. And again, not an excuse, but just context, talking about during the ACC championship, how they did have finals and they did have schoolwork and there were other things they had to focus on. It's a totally different feeling when you can be locked in 100% of the time, no more schoolwork, no more finals to focus on, and literally no other people besides just your teammates and this one goal that they've all had their eyes set on since the second this season began.
Big time. And taking a look at the Final Four here, again, it's Syracuse and Boston College at the 2 and 3 seed. And then we have Northwestern, that's the number 1, taking on number 5, Denver. And I'm happy to see Denver in there because they were maybe a team that even we at times might have somewhat disrespected just because their schedule wasn't the ACC juggernaut that we see Syracuse going through they went through just having a terrific season. So I'm happy to see them there and that they've proved some people wrong to show that they are a legit contender to win this whole thing.
And I know we're going to get into this in a little bit, but just the way that they made it to the Final Four, the fact that the score of that game was 5-4, you beat North Carolina 5-4. What does that say about Denver's defense? Honestly, I would love to see a national championship game that's Syracuse against Denver. The best offense in the entire country going up against probably the best defense in the entire country.
Storyline.
Ayo. But let's get into some of these questions Brendon has because I'm kind of interested
Let's make it happen. So Brendon has, to break down the tournament so far, a list of one or the other questions, breaking down what we've seen in this NCAA Women's Lacrosse Tournament. So here's the first one. Which game?
I thought you guys were going to let me read these.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have the
Go
fancy
ahead.
double box
Go
up
ahead.
here.
Go for it. Please do you.
So,
we're in the new double box.
Yeah, we have a new double box.
If you're watching on
here.
YouTube,
wow.
If you're watching on YouTube, visually, very appealing set here. It's you and me. I don't even know if you've seen it.
We won an award. We have to up our game a bit.
It's a 2-shot on
of us.
And then
here.
Brendon's head, I believe, is on the other side of Sam right now.
Yes.
So
Brendon's big old head.
that's what we're looking at.
Thank you.
Go
for
ahead,
that.
man.
Scarier game for a tournament favorite. Pick one or the other. Northwestern's 8-7 win over Michigan or Boston College barely beating Penn 9-7. One or the other.
I'll let Sam go first.
I'd go Boston College. But I think Boston College in general, when I think about Boston College and I think about Northwestern, I have just always felt more fearful when I think about the Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a feeling.
Is that recency bias stepping into the brain?
It's history.
History. Yeah.
It's the history that they've had with the Orange.
I think this is a great question, Brendon. Like, to me, it's really a toss-up. I'm gonna, just for the sake of argument, go with Northwestern because they were the number 1 and it was only a one goal victory. But then again, time and time again, we see in college tournaments, the teams that make it to the end normally have that game that they had to get over. Things weren't exactly going the way. It wasn't their type of game. It wasn't their type of lacrosse, basketball, you name it, and they're able to get over it. So, credit to both of these teams, but I'm going to go with Northwestern. Let's move on.
Which comeback was more impressive? James Madison beating Maryland 15-14. I think they scored like 7 goals in the fourth quarter to win that game. Or Denver coming back from 4-2 to beat North Carolina 5-4 in that absolute defensive grind we saw last week.
You start us off this time.
Denver. Denver over UNC. I'm always impressed with a 7-goal comeback, but just the sake of taking down UNC in that style and winning 5-4 is I can't get over that.
I think I have to agree, only because when they were down by just a couple of goals, it felt like it could have been 7 or 8.
Oh.
It felt like that's how hard you would have had to have worked to make up that loss of just only a couple of goals, which normally is not a big deal.
Right.
It was just the weirdest game. Like a score like 5-4 in lacrosse, you just never see that.
No.
So bizarre.
I loved it, though.
Me
I love
too.
it. Next question.
Which performance was more dominant? Syracuse 25-8 over Johns Hopkins, or Northwestern beating Loyola 16-6 with a scoreline that I don't think showed how much of a gap there is between those two teams?
Sam, you take it.
And that is interesting because I hear you, the fact that with Northwestern and Loyola, yeah, it was only 10 goals, but Loyola is a great team. But I'm still going to go Syracuse for this one, just because I thought the 25-8 performance was so dominant and so scary that if you were another team looking at, the way that maybe those last 3 games had happened previously before the Hopkins game, you thought, okay, this is a team that's beatable. This is a team that might break down. And then you saw that, and I felt like it sent a message, a statement to other teams. No, we are actually back on track, and we are as dominant as you thought we were for the first 15 games of the season.
And didn't you feel it was the opposite of what happened in the Boston College game in the regular season, where they came out so hot and ultimately just let that win fade away? Whereas this one, it was tight to start, and it was that feeling of, oh boy, are we going through this again? And so
Right.
them to step up and just be so dominant, and especially down the stretch, it was really impressive.
Because you're right. It was sort of like I don't remember exactly, but it was kind of like 1-1, 2-2, 25-8.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. Just like that. Next one.
Which unit would you take if you could only choose one? Northwestern's attack, Denver's defense.
Denver defense.
Offense wins games, defense wins championships.
Next one.
That was quick. There are 4 options for this one for each team. Best attacking duo left in the tournament. For Syracuse, Megan Tyrell, Emma Ward. Northwestern, Izzy Skane, Erin Kuykendall. Boston College, Jen Medjid, Belle Smith. Denver, Lauren Black, Julia Gilbert.
You can only pick one out of all 4?
You can only pick one out of all
That's
4.
messed up.
Best out of the 4.
I got mine.
Go for it, bud.
Oh, this is no disrespect to Syracuse, but I think the Syracuse offense is just, I don't look at that offense and say it's a duo that I look at. I look at that and say it's about 4 or 5 pieces that comprise what makes them what I believe to be the best attack, like we mentioned, in college lacrosse. But as for a duo, Jem Edgin and Belle Smith, can't beat it. Same one?
It sucks because you're right, but it's true. Maybe Syracuse, but I agree. I feel like if I was going to say a duo, I don't even know if those are the 2 people I would pick. And for Northwestern, I've always just viewed it as the Skane train.
Yeah,
from the outside looking
definitely.
in.
Would you
That's feeling
argue-
like a one-woman show.
Would you say Izzy Skane is the best player left in the tournament?
I don't know. I'd say she's the best
She
scorer
looked pretty
left in the
good.
tournament.
She looked really good against Loyola guys.
I know. I would say
It's such a hard question, but I would.
this is the furthest I'd be willing to go right now. I'd say she's in the top 2 as far as people who are left in the tournament. She's in the top 2
Who's number
across
1?
all teams.
Who's with her there?
It's her and Megan Tyrell, and at the end of it, they'll be the 2 that are fighting for the Tuwaraton Award.
Towards
Is that how we're saying it these days?
I've heard it be said 5 different ways, but because I want to say Tewarton, but
too.
there is a very much an emphasis on ton.
Okay.
So
Tuwaraton.
yeah,
Anyway, yeah, I think it'll be them 2 fighting for that award, and it's not even close. But I do think she's the best scorer left in all of college lacrosse, period.
awesome. Period. All right, let's move on, Brendon. I love those. On to the Final Four, taking a look at this Syracuse and Boston College matchup. Second of the 2 semifinal matchups that will be played on Friday, meaning both teams will know who has already advanced to the national championship, set to be played on Sunday. And as we know, Syracuse is facing a familiar foe, and it is against the Boston College Eagles. And the 2 recent games, they hurt. Because Boston College took down Syracuse 17-16 in the regular season finale. We were there live that day. It was at the SU Soccer Stadium. They were up 12-6, and Boston College figured out something, and they started running some plays that was able to weave through that Syracuse defense, and they got back in it. And ultimately, since then, though, it's such a different story. And that was something that Kayla Trainer and the players talked about today, is they just said, we're a different team from that. We are a different team.
This is all working out the way it was meant to be. Syracuse is going to win this game. And I feel more confident saying that because they lost the last two.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to beat a team 3 times in the same season in a row? It's not happening. When they lost that game, and remember, before the regular season matchup.
Should make a mention. I think they've only played them once this year.
I thought they played them twice.
I thought they lost to UNC in the ACC.
You're right. So my bad.
It's okay,
But
because
even
last
still,
year it was like very similar. Last year, I believe it was the regular season finale as well. It says right there.
You're right. It was UNC
so
who knocked them
similar.
out. Either way, when
It
they
feels the
lost
same.
that game in the regular season finale, I remember before that thinking they might lose this game. I think I
Yeah.
said that on this podcast. And when they did, I actually felt like, okay, this is the way that things were supposed to happen. Because even if you look down a little bit further on this list, in 2021, which this was an interesting year, Boston College defeats Syracuse in Game 1 of the final regular season series. Then Syracuse defeats them in Game 2 of the final regular season series. Then they defeat Boston College in the ACC tournament. Then they lose in the national championship game. I do feel like they kind of exchange. They go back and forth. They have games where they win, games where they lose. I think that all of that was setting them up so that they would be ready to play this game now on the highest stage, and I do think they are going to win. I think they are a different team. I think Boston College is great, but I think Syracuse has their number now, and I do think that they're a different team than the first time that they played.
And it is an important note here that Brendon put down that Kayla Trainer was an assistant coach on BC when they defeated Syracuse in the 2021 national championship game.
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing how that comes into play. And just to see, obviously, and just as if we don't say it enough, end of the day, she's had an 18-2 season. She's knocking on the doorstep. She's looking to bring home that national championship trophy, and it could happen here in 2023. It's amazing to see.
And you have to think that's an advantage that Kayla Trainer knows so much about Boston College, whereas I'm not sure that Boston College has quite as much insight and knowledge about Syracuse and the way they play.
Maybe. But
Maybe.
they figured something out in the regular season finale.
You're
And I
right.
think a part of that was probably understanding Kayla's game. I don't know.
Because Kayla probably learned her game from Acacia Walker Weinstein. Isn't that her last name? Acacia Walker Weinstein?
Weinstein, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nailed
So
it.
yeah, that's a tough one right there. I don't know.
Well, hey, let's do this. The big question. You mentioned that you think they're going to beat them. What is it going to take to not only beat them, but win the first ever national championship?
I even thought about this during the Hopkins game when I was an analyst during that game. I always like to think about what are my keys to the game. And for Syracuse, normally I'll come up with, 2 or 3 for each team. I could only think of one thing then, and I can really only think of one thing now. I really think that they just have to get out of their own way. I think, and I've said this since the start, I actually look back to see when did I say that Syracuse is going to win the national championship this year? I said it on March 5th. And the reason I felt that way is because I truly felt that was maybe 5 or 6 wins into the season, that at their best, they are better than any team in the entire country. Mm-hmm. But you have to have your best day on that most important day. So will they be able to do that? I mean, really, technically speaking, Delaney Schweitzer is going to have to play good again. She's going to have a consistent game. And I think defensively, when you think about any weaknesses they could possibly have, that is probably where it is. So maybe just a little bit more communication defensively. They've been sliding pretty well, but I would say certainly an emphasis on that. And also being willing to make in-game adjustments, which I think Coach Trainer is. But let's see who's scoring. Try not to have any one person be the hot hand, but if they are, be willing to face guard them or be willing to switch up your strategy defensively in order to kind of make that happen. But I do think they just have to play their best game, and their best game will be better than the Eagles' best game.
I would also love to see some late draw wins in this one. Late draw wins. Because I feel like out the gate, they do fine with that. I want to see it happening in those final minutes.
Okay.
There we go. Producer Brendon, producer Rachel,
Hello.
You evil duo. It's trivia time. Let's get after it.
So Brendon wrote this question, but I'm going to read it. Out of the teams in this year's Women's Lacrosse Final Four, Syracuse has only beaten one of them at this stage of the game. Which team, which year, and who led Syracuse in points?
Read that again for me. Gotta absorb it.
Out of this year's Women's Lacrosse Final Four, Syracuse has only beaten one team at this stage in the season. Which team, which year, and who led SU in points? So which team did they beat? Which year was it? And who was the leading scorer?
And it's one of the teams that are in this Final Four right now?
Yes. So, like, out of this Final Four, which one have they beaten in the Final Four, and when was it?
I feel like the team is Northwestern.
I feel the same.
That's correct.
Okay.
Which year?
It wasn't 21, right? Was it?
Let me lock in for a minute.
Lock in. Let her lock in.
Let me cook. give me that juju for a minute. No, it's distracting now.
I'll put him down.
It
Lock
was
back in.
Northwestern. Well, let's just talk for a minute. The only 3 years that they've been to the national championship is 2014, 2018, and 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that's what you're rocking with. In 2021,
What's the latter half of the question again? It's the points, right? As well as the leading score?
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
In 2021, who was in the Final Four? I don't feel like it was Northwestern.
Was Meg already hurt by that point? Because she got hurt in the 21 season, I believe. Or no.
No.
Wait, yes. She was hurt. No.
Meg Carney.
Meg Carney, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
She was hurt at that point.
But you're thinking about scores. We need to figure out, because if it's not 2021, then you're just talking about all these girls for no reason, because it's going to be the old school chicks. You feel me?
I don't think it's 21.
You think it's 2018 or 2014?
Oh, I mean, it kind of does feel like they did play Northwestern that year.
Let me just think for a minute.
Storyline-wise, what's going to make sense? What's going to make sense is it was 2014, and it was Kayla Trainer. That's what makes sense to this question.
You're right. Just rip it for the fun of it.
I have mine. Give me yours too. That way we can lock in at the same time.
I like to lock in as a team.
All right,
I
then
feel
let's
like then you
go.
end up being right, and I'm bummed out.
All right, you ready? Grab the top of his head. The answer is 2014. Points, it was... Hit me with something random.
Wait, what was that part of the question? I thought it was just the points leader for Syracuse.
Was it? Is that all?
It's the point leader. It's the point leader, and if you want to go as far as to say how many points were
Kayla
scored.
Trainer, 7 points.
5.
0 for 3. That was pretty nasty. I can't lie.
Wait, what was it?
So
It's
you were
21.
right. Your instincts were right, Tommy. Your instincts were right. You went back on it.
It was 2021?
We always talk about this gut feeling, and you really just betrayed that in that moment. And I'm sorry about it. But it was 2021. It was Megan Tyrell, and she had 8 points.
But you know the freeze frame for the podcast is going to be us like this. Be ready for the thumbnail.
Oh, my gosh. Honestly...
Dang, I should have known that.
I should have known that too, but I think that was Brendon knowing that we would start thinking like Brendon. And he knew that, and then he twisted it around.
Brendon is living in your head.
He's
rent
free. I'm not. He's not paying a dime. He's loitering. He's been there for months. The New York pandemic eviction order has not been lifted, and he's just been staying there for years. Great work, guys. Great work. Great show. Let's call Mungro. Let's see if he answers. Yo, Mongrel, my man. Hey, you're I got you on the Orange Zone podcast right now with me and Sam. You cool with that? We got to tell you some news.
I'm driving right now.
It's positive.
That's
you
all
ready
good,
for it?
Monroe.
What's that?
You, as a part of this team, we needed to call you and let you know live on the show. We just won an Edward R. Morrow Award for Best Podcasts out of all stations in New Jersey, New York, and PA. We are award-winning, my man, and now our podcast goes on for the national contest to try to win this award.
Wow, look at that.
Yes, sir. It's a part of the Radio Television Digital News Association. And dude, we're pumped. We just wanted to call and say thank you for being a part of this, man. You've been a big part of this story, and we're so excited.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. But you guys did it. I just didn't. It was easy. You guys did all the work. I just sat back and talked.
You just missed it. Brendon had just one of his most evil trivia questions that stumped us so bad. He was laughing like a hyena back there. So he says hi, by the way, and dude, we'll have you on soon, and I'll get in touch with you later today or tomorrow to catch up.
Yeah, text me what the award was.
I will. I'll text it to you. I'll send you a link as well.
Yeah, definitely do that. I want to see that. Definitely. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's real cool, actually. Congratulations.
Awesome, man.
Love
Yeah,
you,
congratulations
Mongo.
to you too. Appreciate it, James. Thanks for making the time.
Hey, no problem, brother. You know that.
All right, later. Drive safe.
Catch you later.
Peace.
Should we call Mo in too?
You want to?
Yeah, let's rip Mo
All right.
in.
That was such a last.
I can't believe he answered.
All right, so we're calling Lawrence Moten right now. Syracuse all-time leading scorer in basketball.
That's right. Come on, 2 for 2,
It's
baby.
funny, Munger's more of a caller.
Then Mo in.
Moten, I'd text more.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
Ouch! we'll call. I'll get a hold of him tonight and let him know. But thank you all for being a part of this podcast. The listeners, truly, this is why we're doing it. This is why it works. This is why we're going to be able to continue doing it. And this is just a push forward to keep going with this. And we love it. And thank you for being a part of this. You guys are the best award-winning listeners for sure on OZ.
That's
Peace.
right.
That's it for our show. Samantha Croston. Oh, we got Moten. Yo, poetry.
What's going on?
What's up, man? Hey, real quick, you're on. I got you on speakerphone on the Orange Zone podcast right now with Samantha, Brendon, and Rachel. We just want to let you know some big news. You have a second?
Yeah, talk to me.
We're happy to say that the Orange Zone, the team that you're a part of, we just won a regional award called the Edward R. Morrow Award for the best podcasts out of stations in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York, man.
Oh, that's what's up, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Poetry, you're a part of this, man. We just wanted to say thank you for being a part of this team, and it's been so fun working with you, man. We're only getting started.
Exactly. It's just getting started, man, and glad to be a part. Well, you know I'm a champion, so I expect nothing less.
You're a champion, Poetry. We wanted to thank you so much for being a part of this. Listen, we knew coming into it you were a champion, so of course this was going to be an award-winning show. It was just bound to be the truth.
I appreciate that, Sam. I appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, man. Congrats.
I appreciate it.
All right, Poetry. See you, man.
All right, man. Take care.
Peace. What a comeback story. That's our show. Samantha Croston, Brendon Hodges, Rachel Culver. I'm Tommy Sladek. We're the award-winning Orange Zone. Peace. We're out of here.
See ya.